Hello, Erin. This is David. I hope it's okay if I answer via video. It's much easier for me, and this way I can give you full answers and sort of earnest and honest. You can see my earnest and honest reactions. This is the first time I've read your questions in depth, so here they go. Why did you come to the University of Nevada to talk? I mean, the quick answer is just because I was invited. I've known Donica and David Reif for several years now. And I always respect them and happy to sort of help out with what they do whenever I can. And Donica had been talking about bringing me out for a while, and so we finally just found the opportunity to do it. And I also enjoy those kinds of things, meeting young students and sort of just openly discussing about what I'm doing, again, for the larger journalism community, to sort of absorb it and critique it or whatever. What impact do you believe you had on the students? I actually think that would be more of a question for you than me. What impact do I think I had on the students? I have no idea. I would like to think that it was a good one, but again, I would sort of pass the buck to you on that. If there was one thing a student could take away from your time spent here, what would it be? If there was one, I'm not sure. Again, I sort of almost feel like this is a question for a student. Time spent here, what would it be? I mean, again, I like to think that there's an aspect of journalism that is very, very exciting, and I hope that I'm able to convey that to you guys, and you can take something from that. What is the importance of thinking outside of the box when it comes to journalism? This is a good question because, it's not so much, yeah, I mean, I guess a way to phrase it is thinking outside the box, but, again, journalism has a very rich and deep history, and it's fantastic, and we should study it, but, I would say the last 15 to 20 years, certainly no more than 30 years, but probably 15 to 20, have been the biggest change in modern communication since, maybe the printing press. Maybe you could maybe say TV. Either way, it's definitely a once in a generation kind of thing. And just as news got rethought for television, just as news got rethought for the printing press, news can be rethought for the internet. It's important to look at the sort of what's inside the box and decide what we do like from it. I'm not saying you should have a clean slate, but certainly there's the opportunity to rethink things. Why did you choose to focus on social media? Funny enough, I actually don't know if I say that I focus on quote-unquote social media. I often think, all media by its very definition is social, right? If you think about it. Media is an attempt to is a medium by which people communicate with each other, and communication is social. So I often joke that all media is social. It was always social media. Now we just sort of call it social media because the participation is more common of people, right? I don't necessarily think I focus on social media. I do focus a lot on how the public can participate in journalism more and how to make that process more transparent. What importance does the internet play on stories now as opposed to in the past? Yeah, I mean, it certainly plays, an important role more than in the past because there was no internet. Again, there wasn't really a World Wide Web when I was a kid. Granted, there was by the time I was maybe 10 or 11, but even then it was a very, nascent internet experience. So the importance of the internet, again, is that more and more people are getting their information there. So it plays a greater and greater role. Is running a startup an experience that was worth your time? Yes, it was worth my time, and it is worth my time. Circa is fantastic. I don't think there's anything else that I'd rather be doing right now. How does it feel to be a younger member in the journalism industry? It feels good, and I'm not even gonna necessarily be a younger member in the journalism industry forever, right? I think the last 5 years, from 25 to 30, I definitely was a younger member, but I think the next 5 years I'll become a more seasoned member. So how does it feel? I mean, there are ups and downs to it. I think the ups are that when you're younger in life, you have the opportunity to do things that you don't necessarily have the opportunity to do when you're older, and I like to think I took advantage of that. What advice would you give an aspiring journalist? Really, just to go out and do it. Again, the barriers to entry are small and becoming smaller all the time. And again, journalism is not defined by the organization, but by the person who does it. And the person who does it, you become a journalist just by doing it, which is say, again, it's a series of things you do, right? It's kind of like, what advice would you give to an aspiring basketball player? The first thing would be to play basketball. Um, now, basketball, maybe it's a bad analogy because it also helps to be like 6 foot, 10. But in journalism, there is no physical, height advantage. Or any kind of physical advantage. So the best advice is to just do it and be happy that you don't have to be 6'10" to to be any good. I think anybody can do journalism. It takes practice to do it well, but all that requires again is just going out and doing it.